Okay, so at this point we've got our lampshade, we've got our lamp. They're looking pretty good. Now, we need to make a few more components. So for this, I'm going to use the same tools we've been using. The cord, I'll make it a separate video, uses a couple of different tools, but I'm going to basically use the same lathe tool to create my light bulb, as well as the light bulb cup and several other components. So you can see here's my light bulb. It looks terrible, but remember when I said it's easier to edit it later. Instead of spending hardly any time on this light bulb, I'm going to come in and just fix it after the fact, right? So in here I'm going to use maybe my axis, change it over. Remember, it doesn't really matter if I have a hole in the top and bottom. Everybody got to see kind of how easy it is to, come on, pen, use my trackpad. Sorry, my pen got stuck. All right, so easier to do it on my trackpad. All right, so show end result. Let's modify this. It's pretty close, but it's not quite the right shape. So I might need to move that up, play around with some of its settings. Now, if I were working off a picture, this would be a lot easier. For the bottom, I'm not really super concerned if it's a little off. You know how this is kind of an old school incandescent light bulb, and they tend to have that base. Now, if you wanted to make something like a fluorescent bulb, you would probably make it in the way I'll show you how to do with the cord in just a little bit. So I'm doing kind of, again, a really old school bulb here. I'm not even sure how easy it is to buy these bulbs, although we got kind of a smart bulb that looks like this from Amazon. All right, now I'm going to go to line. I'm going to use that same tool, but for this one, I'm going to create the little base that it goes in. You can buy these bases at like Michael's. If it's easier, I can make this full screen. And I'm going to click. Now for this, I'm going to hold shift. Remember I said shift kind of makes it stick to a 90-degree angle. And I'm going to click down to create this little cup. I'm going to hold shift and pull over. Now here, I can make one with a little plate. Some lamps have a little plate to kind of emulate the look of a candle. A lot of them don't really do that anymore. In fact, it looks like my lamp has some things for the lampshade on the side that I'm looking at now. But so I can just kind of go down and then right click to end. Doesn't look like much yet, right? But let's go ahead and add that magical lathe modifier. Bada bing. Again, my axis is off. Sometimes it'll get right. You can try using these buttons, min, center, and max. Min's pretty close, but it's still not right. I find it easier just to literally grab the axis and use the move tool to move it over left and right. Again, there's just lots of ways of doing the same thing in max too. So you can see here I've created kind of the cup. Now, it may not be exactly in the middle, so I might actually grab this and move it in just a little bit to make that cup a little smaller. Now, I could use the align tool to kind of line these up. So let's do that up here. Align, click that. Now, if I did center and center, it'll align it. Now, of course, I need to move it down. Something like that. All right, now looking pretty good. Here we could even grab all of these parts and use the align tool on our light bulb here. Boom. Hit OK. Also need to move them up and down, although the lampshade looks pretty good. I'll just have to move the lamp down. You can see moving it down kind of assembles all of my parts. So here. Now it doesn't really matter that I moved my lamp for this. Again, it more matters on assemblage. Later, in a later video, we'll learn how to kind of attach parts and stuff. But you can see here, there's my lampshade, there's my cup, there's my bulb. There's it all. And again, if I wanted to cap that little hole, I could always convert this over to edible poly. You could also use a vertex weld for that. Again, we're going to get into a lot more of those fun tools in the next couple of videos. So don't worry about it right now. You can leave that hole in the top and bottom. It's not going to be a big deal. You can't even see the bottom one. All right, but you can see here we kind of have our basic lamp. Now the last little piece is going to be adding the cord. I think I'm going to make a separate video for that one. So we'll do that one next.